GF asked for a break to figure out what she wants in life, so I moved across the country without telling where, but now she's followed me here and is sleeping in her car outside my building after finding out I was planning to propose. I need your judgment on this mess I've gotten myself into. And yes, it's a proper mess. Some background because nothing in my life is ever straightforward. I'm 28, work for the Department of Fisheries and Oceans. It's one of those government jobs where you think you'll be swimming with dolphins but instead you're mostly counting dead fish and filling out forms in triplicate. My girlfriend Anna, 27, and I had been together for 4 years, living together for 8 months in this cramped apartment in Halifax. The thing about working in this industry is that it's incredibly niche. There are maybe 12 positions like mine in the entire country, and they rarely open up. So when you get one, you hold onto it like grim death. Anna kinda had a hunch about this, but what she didn't know was that I'd already bought the ring and had been carrying it around in my jacket pocket for 3 weeks, waiting for the right moment. The context you need here is that Anna has always been what you might charitably call indecisive. In 4 years, she changed her major twice, switched jobs 4 times, and once spent 3 hours at a restaurant unable to choose between pasta and pizza before ordering soup. I thought it was cute at first. Less cute when you're trying to plan a future together. About 4 months ago, things started getting weird. She'd go quiet during conversations about our lease renewal. She'd change the subject when I mentioned vacation plans. She started doing this thing where she'd stare at me like she was trying to solve a math problem. Not exactly the behavior you want from someone you're planning to propose to. Then came the conversation. She sat me down and said she needed space to figure out what she wants in life. Except she insisted it wasn't a breakup, just a break. She'd stay with her friend Zoe for a few weeks, do some soul searching, and then we'd see where we stand. I asked what specifically she needed to figure out, and she gave me this vague response about life directions and personal growth. Here's where I might be the asshole, Reddit. Instead of waiting around like a kicked puppy, I did something impulsive. My boss had mentioned a few weeks earlier that there was a potential transfer opportunity to the Victoria office. It would mean a promotion, better pay, and working on actual marine conservation projects instead of just bureaucratic fish counting. The catch was that it had to be filled quickly due to some grant funding timeline. So I called my boss that night and said I was interested. Within a week, I had the transfer approved. Within 2 weeks, I'd given notice on the apartment, sold most of my furniture, and packed my life into a U-Haul. I left Anna a text explaining that I was taking the job opportunity and that she had all the space she needed. I didn't tell her where I was going. The move itself was a nightmare. The U-Haul broke down in some nowhere town in New Brunswick. I had to spend 2 days in a motel that smelled like cigarettes and defeat, and when I finally got to Victoria, my new apartment's previous tenant had left behind a collection of mannequin heads that I'm still finding in random closets. But I was free. For 3 months, it was actually great. The job was everything I'd hoped for. I was working on kelp forest restoration, got to do actual field work, and my stress levels dropped significantly. I made friends with my coworkers, started rock climbing. Then last week, everything went sideways. My best friend Dan, who still lives in Halifax, apparently ran into Anna. And here's where Dan messed up royally. He told her that I'd been planning to propose. Not just that I'd been thinking about it, but that I'd actually bought a ring and everything. I found this out when he called me, panicked, saying he'd accidentally